Hello and welcome back to the Talos Principle. For the last time in this year, crazy stuff. Who knows, maybe we'll be here for another year entirely. Especially at this rate, could happen. As you can see, the leprechaun is still here, even though I quit the game. It's still finished, it's still been built, which kind of leads me to believe that it's not just a one and done little secret thing like that statue, the like Nar statue or whatever it was called in the main game, where oh, you get a fireworks display and fun times, just a joke thing. So maybe this has like changed something now. Maybe it's for the ending, maybe you get something like the cat, or maybe something has changed elsewhere, or maybe we need to find and build 4 different statues in all 4 different hubs or something like that. I don't know. But I guess I don't need to worry about it right now, as far as it seems. I'm also a little concerned my PC is acting up again. I don't know what's going on. It's just randomly, like, running worse now. Like, there was a time kind of like midway into this series where that just started happening. Out of nowhere, I just couldn't run the game as well, even in the same areas, and I was having like massive recording issues and frame drops and all that stuff, and yeah, now looks like there's another wave of that coming for some reason, so I had to like tone down a bunch of settings, and I don't know if it's gonna look as good, not that it looks particularly great already with the compression on YouTube, but goddamn, I don't know what's happening. Things are just breaking randomly for no reason. We just have to hope that it's fine enough. So, let's get started. I did consider a couple things with this thing. I remembered there was the whole star gate, so we should check that to see if that has opened now that I have a star, or if that's like after you get the star gate that opens and it's something entirely separate. And for this one, I was thinking maybe I was like completely set on this being in open field. You would jump in somewhere and walk along the like, what are they called again? The like ramparts or something. But instead, I'm thinking maybe it's something to do with putting a box on this guy and, like, I mean, I guess jumping onto here or something? The wall? Looking at it now, that doesn't seem too likely, but it could be something in this level itself, so we should look around for that. But before we do any of that stuff, I guess we've let this beep for long enough. It's time to just get to reading, which means let's do it in open field. Not that it matters, but just because that's where we got the last guy free. We freed Sam. So, let's get to reading. Oh and yeah, what has Sam done? We didn't look around here. Has he, like, played any pranks? How is he? Oh, yeah, there we go. He's been kind of sculpting a little bit. Done anything else to waste the time? Sat here and contemplated a lot. Yeah, doesn't seem like it's much more. He hasn't really done too much. Hasn't defiled the statue or anything. Alright, well, this might be the rest of the episode for all we know. Also, candles on top of the computer. Without anything on them? Jesus. That's very irresponsible. Welcome back to your little copy. Okay. We have... This one has been updated. Oh, no, it's theories on food now, instead of poetry. And then, this has not been updated. No one's added anything to my thread? Huh. I guess people don't know what to say, or maybe they just don't care to respond. Who knows? New gallery season? Again? Didn't we just have a gallery season? Where was the old gallery? Or, oh, I guess it's just that is the new gallery season, it's just someone has updated something about it, or replied. Incredible Stories number 5, and an historic occasion, which we still need 6+ for. So, I guess let's go for theories on food. And once again, I'm gonna read this and then read the attachment, and we'll skip all the rest of the stuff. Mr. Mulciber, since Nave asked in a previous thread, I thought I'd write something about food. Yeah? Read on food. Food is something that was incredibly central to the human experience, yet seems completely absent from ours, even though we are so similar in so many ways. Humans required fuel, They got this fuel by consuming other living beings, of which there was a great variety in their world. Without fuel, they didn't merely slow down or temporarily stop functioning, as when a power source is removed from a turret, but physically decayed in a way that could not be fixed. This meant they had to constantly seek new sources of fuel, at least 3 times a day. Well, that's debatable. They also had to deal with those elements of their fuel that their bodies could not process. These were excreted through two orifices between their legs. Great. The latter subject, well, sometimes from a third one as well. The latter subject matter was the source of many taboos and also a great deal of humor, though this resulted in frequent controversy. The most famous artist to engage with this subject matter was called Scatman John, on account of his specialization. Fantastic. One of the ingenious things our human ancestors did was to transform the chore of fuel-seeking into a source of pleasure. Since parts of their bodies respond to chemical configurations by producing sensations, they used this trait to create a truly stunning variety of foods, each having a different so-called taste. Foods were available at widely distributed fueling stations, which also provided excrement removal facilities, so food became a source of pleasure. However, the inefficiencies of food distribution in human society frequently led to significant shortages for sections of the human population. There were attempts to rectify this, ranging from moral appeals to struggles for systemic change, but I do not know if they succeeded before the end. Yeah, I mean, I guess Crow Team don't know, so they couldn't really write about that. And what do people say here? Weird, awesome stuff. Was that the end? I guess we'll go back and check. Yeah, that was the... I should check that, like what the second one is, just so when I do that, I can make sure I read that. Or like, don't miss anything. Knave, I feel smarter now. Dog, what I don't get is how so many of them didn't understand that they were machines. Every day they went around processing matter to extract energy, and they didn't realize? This has Talos principle stamped all over it. Borg, perhaps they simply aspired to something more than just being food processing machines. Dog, that's still what they were. Borg, not if they chose to be more. Lamb, I'm glad we don't have to deal with all that. Garrett, we may have to when we get out of here. Belial, there is no out of here. Orc, don't start fighting, folks. You know we depend on each other. Mr. Mulciber's theories are fascinating and give us an insight into the world that was, but we shouldn't forget the world that is, the world we built here. I mean, now he's actually being kind of, sensible, I would say, when they actually were almost starting to fight, so for once Orc isn't, like, overbearing. That's a word of wisdom. New gallery season. Voting is now closed while we tally up the results. Of course, you may continue to explore the gallery at your leisure. How convenient. The vote was closed just before I got here, says Rockwell. Kaiju, good luck everyone. I wouldn't let my newfound freedom come between me and watching the live results. Oh, yeah, Kaiju, right. Lilith, the results are in. We haven't seen anything from Sam yet. Knave, drumroll. Lilith, in third place. Knave, with Where the Humans Live. Knave, my first placement, woohoo! Dog, a pity it finally comes on the day Uriel begins pulling this place apart. Lilith, there was a very tight competition this season for first and second places, and in the end it came down to a single deciding vote. Oh, well there we go, it was me. In second place this season is, oh it was not me, Mr. Mulciber with a collection of natural history curios. Huh. So, I couldn't have changed this no matter what, because I voted for Mr. Mulciber. So, even if I didn't vote for him, he would have been 2 votes behind in that case. So, yeah, that's a shame. I wonder if something can change who wins. Really, I owe it all to you guys. Who won? Your lackadaisical approach to these announcements tires me. Please inform us who won. God, I hate Uriel. He's such a dick. Okay. Finally, first place this season by a single vote, and next season's leading light, the winner is... Everyone seems to love this guy. It's the Blacksmith, with his abstract collection. Dog, he doesn't even, like, write. That's kind of interesting. The Blacksmith has, like, never written anything, has he? Or did he write something about his own abstract stuff? I don't remember. Dog, I don't know why everyone keeps voting for this guy when he never shows up in person. Yeah, exactly. Bit holier than thou, if you ask me. Lilith, congratulations also to all those who voted for the blacksmith. Be sure to check in for your rewards. Damn it, so I guess I should have voted for the blacksmith if I wanted, like, more status, but oh well. Rockwell, Lilith, who exactly turned the vote? Lilith, Lamb had the deciding vote as it happened. Huh. Unfortunately, you didn't select the winner and gained no profile status. Yeah, okay, I guess you can change this in some way. I don't know if it's like based on how late you vote or something, if we hold off voting until the very end, or... Yeah, no idea. Or if it is just like the blacksmith will win every time, you just have to vote for him if you want your status to go up. But I guess that was the whole point. I voted for what I thought was the best. That fucking giraffe with dead people. That was the best art piece. Incredible Stories, number 5. I'm assuming you can, like, reach max level, max rank, regardless. You probably don't get locked out of that, but I don't know, maybe. Maybe we would have to replay everything several times. Incredible Stories, issue 5, featuring new work by Belial, Mac Galatea, Mr. Mulciber, edited by Lilith and Mac. Fiction, Alexandra's Choice, Alexandra, huh? By Galatea. I don't know. The One Spiritual Law of Happiness by Belial. Non-fiction, The Blacksmith's Lost Work by Mac. Nothing by Mulciber? Huh. Alexandra's Choice by Galatea. Alexandra stood before the terminal and pondered her choices. Here, within the Pyramid of Ian, the most powerful temple of her people, she was about to create a world. All she had to do was press one button. Up until this moment, it had seemed easy. Or if not easy, then so necessary as to defy contemplation. Civilization had to be saved from the impending catastrophe. Well, they know about this stuff, I guess. How is this fiction? If this is, like, they're clearly basing it on the logs from the main game, the main, like, area in that case, if they have memories from that place, because they seem to, right? Like, Dog brought up the snake, and then someone said, like, Dog, the snake is not here, so they know about the previous world, so they would know about the logs from Alexandra and Ian and stuff, right? So how is this fiction in their eyes? That's very strange. The orangutans had failed to take steps to protect themselves, had relied on their gods for a salvation that never came. The same fate could not be allowed to befall humanity. If this meant humbling herself, accepting her own death, then so be it. But death was inevitable. Life was a choice. What worried her was the ones who would fail, all the lost souls of the new world, victims of the process. In creating them, was she not also responsible for their deaths? She turned to the statue behind her, gazed at its marble form. If you are a god, Zeus, as the stories claim, then why did you create evolution? Why did you make a world that can only grow through cruelty and pain? For a moment, surely this meant death was near. What? She thought... Huh? For a moment, surely this meant death was near. She thought she heard him answer. Oh, I see. My child, I was shaped by the gods that came before me, as you were shaped by me. The choice I had was between creation and oblivion, life and death, and I chose life because any life is better than no life, because as long as there is life, there is hope. If not for us, then for some generation to come. Then how are you a god if you can offer so little? She whispered, feeling death creep closer. I am a god because I take upon myself the burden of creation, the statue replied. Then we are all gods, Alexandra said, and pushed the button. As the new world came into being, death overwhelmed Alexandra Drennan. Her mind fled and her body slowly turned to stone, until she stood before the terminal as Zeus stood on his pedestal. There were no more choices now, only the hope that creation mattered. Yeah, I mean, again, like, that shouldn't be fiction, and they should know it isn't fiction if they have played the main game, or, like, gone through it. Just checking the time. I think we can at least go through this stuff today. The One Spiritual Law of Happiness. Once upon a time there was a lake, and on the lake was an island, and on the island was a prison. In the prison lived a male human called Muskie Rack. Muskie was very sad, because there wasn't enough space in the prison for him to experience happiness. I must discover the one spiritual law of happiness, he said to the other prisoners. A female human called Zini, and a neutral human called Crumpier, but they didn't care. He couldn't understand how they could be so calm. One day, Muskie managed to break out of his cell by biting through the bars. Now he was no longer in the prison, and for a while he was happy. But then he realized he was stuck on the little island, and he became unhappy again. So he gathered his strength and swam across the water. This is how Muskie got to the valley that surrounded the lake. The valley was much bigger than the island, and there were many interesting things here. A forest where all the trees were the color of lasers, a swamp with boats in it, a singing dog, and also a city where toasters lived. For some years, Muskie was absorbed by all this, and he was happy. But then he started feeling trapped again. The valley was surrounded by mountains, and soon they looked like prison walls to him. He tried climbing the mountains. Oh, wait, yeah, there. Okay, it's still a bit to go. And came to a bigger country. But even that was surrounded by oceans. Where was true freedom? Where was true happiness? When he'd almost lost hope, Muskie met an old male human with a huge amount of white hair growing from his head. He lived in a small house by the beach, where dolphins and whales and sea elephants came to bask in the sun. He never went anywhere far from his house, but he was always happy. The old man's name was Quantum. Wise old Quantum, how can I discover the spiritual law of happiness? Muskie said. I have searched for it everywhere, but I am always trapped. You have not looked everywhere, Quantum said, for you have not looked within. Close your eyes. Muskie closed his eyes, and for the first time in his life, he couldn't see any obstacles. No walls, no mountains, no oceans. The space within him was without end, and he could go wherever he wanted, without even moving. He smiled. Muskie went back to that old prison where he'd started, and now he understood why Zine and Crumper were always calm. They knew they had an infinity of time and space to explore within them. Together, they sat in their cells and were happy and free. Yeah, very, it's based on the same thing. Was it Belial that said this before? Belial was or someone said something about, the endless space within you and imagination being endless and stuff. You can live an eternity in your own mind. I mean, I guess that's kind of more fiction, I suppose, in a way. The Blacksmith's Lost Work by Mac. The blacksmith is one of the most mysterious members of our community. All of us have our opinions, of course, but only the blacksmith chooses to express them purely through art. To the rest of us, Gehenna means many things at once. We create, we consume, we discuss. But the blacksmith only creates. Or perhaps there is a discussion happening, but it all takes place in the realm of interactive art. The blacksmith's dedication to this one form of communication, however, only deepens one of Gehenna's great mysteries, the fate of the blacksmith's lost work. Jerusalem, as the lost work was called, was posted in Gehenna for only the briefest period of time. Many had not even managed to start playing it when it vanished. Some had begun and felt quite impressed, but had not managed to explore it in the depth that it seemed to require. Then suddenly it was gone. Some suggest that the blacksmith deleted it because it was somehow flawed. Others think it was accidentally destroyed by a glitch, but that blacksmith refuses to ever upload anything twice. Others yet, well, mainly Rockwell, think that it contained one of Elohim's secrets and was destroyed by a killer app that roams the world looking for leaks. There is also a theory that the moment someone finished it, they were granted some kind of special insight, at which point the work deleted itself. One fact remains: it's gone, and every attempt to recover it from the database has failed, as has every private message to the blacksmith asking for it to be made available again. What was Jerusalem? What was it really about? We may look for hints in the blacksmith's more recent works. We may hope the file turns up again someday, but the truth may never be known. This isn't what I did, is it? I can't remember, is this what I did to start playing this entire thing? Where I started the first terminal and it was the whole shepherd and, the coming of machines and technology and things like that? I don't know. It could be. So in that case, did it delete itself after I finished it? and it had accomplished what it was meant to do, like bringing me into Gehenna? Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I guess that's that. I don't think my, no, I'm still only 5. Damn it, I could have been 6 by now. Well, have to come back later, I suppose. Yeah, we'll stick with it. So, I guess I'm gonna leave it there for today. Like I thought, it was all reading. So, next time we'll dive into the whole star thing that I mentioned, and also I'll probably take a lap around the ocean here, just checking the like shore and under the water a little bit in case there's something. There probably won't be, but we might as well do that just to be thorough. And then any further exploration in this area I might do off camera. So, join me then in the new year. Whoa! And for me, it's like in 2 minutes. Bye-bye!